Yeah. Greetings, everybody. We have returned once again this fine Sunday evening to do what we can to entertain the masses and hurry hard faster than they do in the Scotties. Or against the Scotties, or something. I don't know. Curling reference.
Rocks.
The Scotsmen are involved.
Rocks. Stones, even.
Indeed. So yeah, I was carrying my SHOT Show Presidio today.
You were more than
I might have done something.
Let's be honest here.
Well, yeah, I was about to say that. I did something a little bit silly and abusive today. Putting in a new rain barrel to help catch the rain or the runoff to not let the sidewalk freeze up anymore. I needed to trim down the downspout. And yeah, that's what I had on me and with me, and it did really good, and it's still fine. No damage to the edge, so use your knives.
Shocker, M4 can actually perform.
Mm-hmm. Benchmade does a pretty damn good job with M4, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
They do like to push their limits. Yeah. Very similar knife, but I'm carrying the Griptilian M390 brass. Goodness. DLT exclusive.
Mm-hmm. In what ways is that similar?
It looks similar.
It's the Benchmade.
The Presidio and the Griptilian don't look similar. Like, come on.
I don't know. I thought you were talking about like blade steel. I was like, one of them's aluminum, the other one's carbon fiber. They're different steels. I don't know. But tonight I'm carrying the Fox Turf in LMAX.
Yeah, you are.
So there.
That's similar too.
Yeah. They're all the same. Let's be honest.
More similar to the last one, I guess.
So bad. Joe, save us.
Yeah, please. Somebody needs to.
Voking Knives TO4 because it's fun, it's small, it's compact, and it's M390.
You carry that knife too much.
I do. It's actually it's been taking the place of this guy in the shirt pocket lately. So yeah, it's been getting used a lot more.
Such an old man.
Yeah,
shame.
Gotta have a shirt knife.
Shirt pocket.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to carry another knife because I don't carry enough on me already.
You've given up on excuses to carry knives a long time ago.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I've got a pocket. It needs a knife in it. Give me a break.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So this evening we're going to be doing a quick little review here on the new CRKT Razel GT.
Yes.
GT.
I don't know about necessarily clamoring, but I know people have been excited for a return of the Razel to the CRKT lineup for a long time now. When was the last Razel model discontinued again? Like, it was like a while ago.
Well, they snuck out the Razel Cliff last year. And I mean, before that, I think it was only 3 years, maybe 4 years, that they didn't have the folding Razels and the fixed Razels. So they had made them for 5 or 6 years, I want to say, something like that type of thing, and then stopped, and now it's back. And the Razel Cliff, I don't think, got the wow appeal that they were looking for, so they went a little deeper and brought out the GT instead, right?
Yeah, and apparently the GT, there's a mid-tech variant of this knife that this is based off of. So I guess this is CRKT's interpretation of that particular knife.
That makes sense.
And I understand that it's Razel, but Razel is going to probably get thrown out there because, yeah.
Because if we don't comment on that, we'll get yelled at in chat more.
Because Rook knives, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was a point in my early knife nerdery where the fixed blade Razel was something that I deeply wanted.
Sharpened pry bars are fun. The K-bar, what is it, the master key?
How dare those two knives?
What are you talking about? They're both just as useful as each other, right?
The amount
one's
of
a beauty
uses, like, sure, like a $20 gas station knife has a seatbelt cutter and a window punch. What are you proving, dude? Like, it's.
I'm trying not to laugh really hard while saying this, but at the same time, chisel tip knives are not really that common. Even as far as like cleaver shaped blades have become more and more popular over the last couple of years, we haven't really seen that many that have a forward facing edge like this. And I can't think of really too many others that are like it, to be honest.
No, it's pretty unique. He's got his thing down, and I mean, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. General specs on this guy. He's one of the newer models that's using the IKBS ball bearing system that's caged with an assist. Aluminum handles and stainless steel liner on 8CR for the blade. Yeah. Does anybody know if the backspacer is aluminum or steel? I wanted to say it was steel, but I actually am drawing a blank on that.
Oh, they do like their steel, so
it's probably like a 2CR or something like that.
It doesn't actually say in their description or anything, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to pay for the blade replacement, that's for sure.
Oh, I see.
Way to give nobody context.
Sorry, yeah. Fisk's comment about chisel tip knives being just used spider coats. Yeah, well, you know.
It's true, though.
Is it?
That's definitely one way to resharpen it.
Anyway, on to the review.
Yep. Who wants to go on this guy first?
Not me.
Really? Let's no one? Jeebus. Okay.
I'm saying not me.
Right I'll go then. I'll go, yeah. I didn't hate this guy. I gave it a 74. The high point for me, objectively, is the lockup and the actuation. I think we covered this with some earlier CRKT reviews, but that assist mechanism with the ball bearings, super slick, super easy to open. The other high point, objectively, goes to cutting ability for an 8. It's a unique blade shape. It's got a decent hollow grind on it. Yeah, it's 8CR, but you get a lot of utility out of that blade shape. You can actually push, pry, and scrape with it a little bit, and it's something unique that you just don't really see in the knife world all that often. On the personal side of things, it was very much a meh kind of a knife. Almost 7s across the board here, with an enthusiasm of 8, because I know that there are people who were very excited about a Razel, about a Razel knife, especially one that's fairly affordable for what it is. So yeah, that got an 8, but everything else was very acceptable. I did find the grip a little bit slippery though, so your mileage may vary on that particular one. But
aluminum handles run that risk.
Yeah, the coating seemed decent, and I do like the brushed finish. I'll kind of zoom in here so you can get a better view. Oh, there goes my voice. A better view of that.
Okay, it's okay. Grade 9 was rough for all of us, Joe.
Yeah, there it is.
Your beard will fill in soon. Don't worry.
It won't. It won't. I got this shitty neck beard thing going on. It's never going away. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention they crowned the spine. It's a. Did we get a?
That's a good point.
Oh, we didn't get a photo of it. Too bad. But that's okay.
When it's closed, you can't see it.
Get
that angle.
Not really. No, unfortunately. Sorry, it's okay. Yeah.
Take your own damn photos.
I actually meant to. It's man, I should really double check to see if there's anything I want to get photos of. Should have gotten some of the crown spine.
That would have been the one thing worthwhile, because it's lion steel kind of level of.
Yeah. Now that being said, 8CR can't be that hard to grind, but whatever. It's a nice touch, and they did do it. One area where they kind of fell short for me, I think, was the centering. In every version I had looked at, it was almost or rubbing the opposite scale. So on that front, I did give it a 7 for fit and finish, because I'm sure you could fix it. I'm sure you could make it work, but the fact that all of them were like that out of box was a little unsettling. Yeah. Anyway, 74, kind of a meh, but if you like the blade shape, you're probably going to like this knife. Maybe help you make the decision of buying the mid-tech if that's your game. I have no idea. I have no idea what those even go for. I'm going to guess they're shy of a couple $100, but
keep going. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Who's next?
They're not that shy about their hundreds of dollars for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll go next now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, we broke the ice now, so let's dive in. Yeah, my score is not like your score.
You don't think so, huh? No.
Well, you'll see.
All right.
Objectively, the one thing, the fit and finish, the crown spine is where I gave it the 9. The extra little detail, the IKBS and the assisted type of thing. They're throwing all of that in there, and it makes a really smooth action. They make them really snappy coming out too. Because as long as you get it past the D10, then they're launching, right? So
yeah.
Cutting ability, I kind of wavered between an 8 and a 7 on that one, just because it is a decently ground blade, but it's never going to be the slicey S90 South Fork or something like that type of thing, right? So I wavered on that one, but I ended up with the 7 thing, just because the multi-purpose sometimes isn't going to excel perfectly in both and end up being mediocre at both of those things type of idea, right? Even though the Razel does a pretty good job pulling it off. So it was the personal that took a tank. So
yeah, I can see that. Jeebus.
HCR and aluminum. You don't see any of that in my collection, really. Like, I've got AWT stales for a Griptilian, I guess, for aluminum, but it's TI or carbon fiber or G10 or whatever, right? So
943.
I do have a 943, and I've got a new bailout too. So but the smoothness on this one, aesthetically, when they wanted to come back with a real, like another Razel, I like the original one. I don't like the GT. I don't like the slimmer blade. It's like trying to make a workhorse knife into an EDC package, and I think the Razel needs to be a workhorse knife in a workhorse knife package. So I'm going to say package some more.
I dare you.
Pocket clip is a 3 because it's right hand only. It's a deep carry, so I'll give it to it, whatever, right? So ergonomic preference, slippery as hell, and the butt end of it with the front flipper of it kind of traps my hand. I don't know how Nigel sits. Maybe his pinky sits a little more natural up on the butt end of it, but we'll see on his score. Enthusiasm, meh. It's meh being a 5, so it's slightly lower than meh. I wish it was the full-sized Razel and come back with one of those properly, right? So one thing I want to point out on, sorry, you have something to dabble in there before my last note.
No, you make your note and I'll.
Mine is silly. Mine is silly more than anything. I just want to put a note on it before we continue on. So, if you go to CRKT's website, the very last thing that they've got in their specs on it is the accessory options, which is a lanyard hole, which I didn't get into it being awkward and obnoxious, by the way. But the lanyard hole is for a keychain or a fob.
Only those two things, huh?
Not a lanyard, but it's a lanyard hole for either a keychain or a fob. So CRKT is a little blundery in that particular wording, and it made me chuckle. So
that's awful.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have the keychain or the fob lanyard on the end of that lanyard hole type of thing. I think they should have just got rid of it completely.
Honestly, the presence of that backspacer is so confusing to me. Like, is that supposed to be like a glass breaker, pommel strike, like implement? Like, what the hell is that supposed to do?
It's
a pinky holder.
Yeah, but like maybe for Nigel, maybe we'll see when we get to his score. But
no, it's obviously for a keychain because that's what you do with your EDC over 3-inch pocket knife is attach your keys to it.
Yeah. Can you imagine like a little, what are those? The remote starters for cars? Just one of those hanging off the end of your knife in your pocket.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Right. So.
Wow.
Anyway.
So what your overall score?
Oh, I didn't actually say that. Yes,
Yeah.
Sorry. Overall 58, which was a good solid D. Right
Good
in the middle.
solid D, huh?
There was no looking at a C- anywhere on the horizon.
Ooh.
It wasn't a soft
A
D.
good solid
that's for
D
sure.
right in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, where else do you want to put it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. No. Next. Or no, wait, no,
The
Paul.
thing that
Yeah, you had something to say.
The thing that I was going to touch on was Fisk saying he'd like to see a bad knife get a truly bad score. We give stuff bad scores if it's truly bad, we will definitely give it a bad score.
I'm not laughing this one to the bank by any means, man. Like I had to struggle to come up with a 58.
But there's also, like, objectively, it's still a decent knife. I might not like it. It may not be my choice, but I'm still giving a review to everybody. Somebody out there might like the look of that knife. And yeah, if you like the look, it's a good knife. It's a functional knife. It opens nice. It sits in the pocket okay.
And really, on Dennis's score, if you look, he still gave it 3 7s, an 8, and a 9.
We made 50% of our score something that we couldn't argue because I don't like it type of thing, right? We did that on purpose. So if there's a flaw in the knife, 50% of it will show that flaw. And the other 50% of it is like, okay, I like that vibe type of idea. Or I don't, right?
And here's the thing. In terms of points, Dennis and I gave it the exact same score objectively for different reasons, but it got the same points.
Really? That's funny.
I gave it 3.
I didn't actually notice them.
Yeah, 3 7s, an 8, and a 9, but then you had to go and give it 3 4s, a 3, and a 5.
Well,
But that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
It's also, like Ben says in chat, it's a $70 knife. If this was a $300 knife, it would not get the score.
Oh, no.
I didn't dabble on that, actually, with the fit and finish. Like Crown Spines, that's why I gave it a 9. Like Crown Spines and aluminum and... Yeah, I know it's HCR, but then they're throwing in SpeedSafe and IKBS, which is like for everything they're doing on this knife, like internally and whatever. I mean, it's in the same ballpark as a Chinese D2 slab of G10 that's out there. And there's a lot more going on with this thing than there is with those. And the D2 might be 55 Rockwell on some of those Chinese companies. You don't even know, right? So... Hopefully not. Fingers crossed.
So
I got some QSB stuff that needs to be tested, but anyway.
Yeah.
You want to go, Nigel, or shall I?
I can go, yeah.
Sure.
There's it. Edit here.
I was more hatery than Nigel was.
Yep.
I knew I was going to be. Nigel kind of likes this knife.
All right.
Kind of do. It was a bit of a sneak surprise for me.
Oh yeah.
I ended up giving it a 69. Yeah, yep. Following up Dennis's D there, I gave it a 69.
Am I looking at the wrong score?
Oh no, that's my Spider-Co score. Never mind.
Spoiler alert.
That's okay. You'll find out about that later.
I'll tell you tomorrow.
65.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as good as following it up to D, but yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you just hit that minimum for the C-, hey?
Yeah, objectively speaking, yeah, it was pretty nice. My brain is mush tonight.
That's all right.
What am I
Nigel, for those who don't know, Nigel definitely suffers from the migraine pressure change. The Chinooks in Alberta kicks people's asses, so Nigel's bearing with us right now. But I'll slag on you for the ergonomic execution being a 6 if you want. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not putting you under fire when you feel like that.
We can ask him why he graded it a 6. Give him some leading questions.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's like the main point that's really different than anyone else's, so we may as well talk about that one. for like I did that because it's actually really, really comfy for my hands. The internal portion there is like a comfy 3-finger grip.
Yeah.
And then the extra space in that stupid lanyard piece, I don't care about it being the lanyard, fob hole, whatever. That is such a comfy little purchase spot for my pinky. But then I was thinking about everyone in the normal mid-range sorts of hands, such as like your hand, Dennis, or Joe's hand, and it being awkward.
You're
and I
using
didn't think that was good execution.
You're using that lanyard fob hole as your like Spartaco Pochi tail. Like, it's...
Yeah, that's funny.
For the record, I'm going to start a punk band called Fob Hole.
Oh, please don't. That's disgusting. I hate it. But I actually have to agree with Nigel, though.
But fob has to be an abbreviation that you never explain.
Yes.
Like
I'll be curious.
F.O.B.
Oh,
Yeah, but never explain it.
I like that. But
I can't explain something.
every time somebody asks you what it stands for, you just give them a different answer.
Just make up, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, personal side of things.
Yeah. Where did that go again?
I will note as well, Paul gave a 9 to lock up. I think I gave an 8. I can't remember what Joe gave lock up and actuation. But again,
We haven't had my score yet.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the talking points that I wanted was I think it would have done better as a non-assisted. I find a lot of the time, me personally, I'll use the spine of the knife with an assisted opening to close it against something, whether it's my thigh or against my other hand. And with it being an assisted opening, I found it like a very high potential of digging that corner in as I was doing that and nicking myself in some way.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave it the 7.
You cannot close that on your leg. That's for sure. Like that's or you have to be super conscious about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also dabbled on the combination of IKBS and Speed Safe, and you're not 100% sold on it, especially with the opening. You were talking about mushy in some of the previous episodes as well. So I thought that might have factored in for a little bit. Yeah.
No, that was definitely more just with the ritual that I found it. The Lanny didn't have that issue at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. For the personal side, lots of 6s. Decent mid-ground knife. Aesthetics, it's kind of awkward. I do appreciate the symmetry of it, though, so
it's a little
decent scores. What was that, Joe?
Oh, just it is a little silly looking, for sure.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for Paul. Anyway, continue on.
What is it here? Ergonomic Preference, I gave it the 7 because, like I mentioned, it was actually a bit of a surprise for how comfy it was for me. I was not expecting that at all. So that the enthusiasm actually got a 6 because getting it in hand, I like it a lot more than I thought I would. If it was indeed 2, I probably would have bought it.
Wow. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you. It'd be a tempting option. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I have to agree about the 3-finger grip. My pinky tends to rest on kind of the square section before the lanyard fob hole thing begins. It is actually relatively.
People don't know what to call it now. It's fantastic.
But it is actually relatively comfortable, which was surprising. Yeah.
When you post this on Tuesday, you better use #FobHole because it's fantastic. Yeah, it's.
Should I make T-shirts?
There's so many T-shirts we need to make before we get to FobHole.
Oh, I know.
But FobHole will have people asking questions.
It's written down. I'll try not to forget.
I think that pretty much rounds you out, Nigel.
Yep. That's what I have to say.
All right.
Very fair. Very fair.
Last, but oh my. Okay,
Yeah.
let's have this conversation.
What did you give it, Joe? Did you give it a 74?
Yeah, I give it a 74.
Okay, I'm the least hater of the group this week.
Oh, you
I see
sure
what's
are.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 76.
All right.
On the objective side, like Joe said, the lockup and actuation for me was the high point. It got a 9. Everything else got 8s.
Across the board,
Specifically-
Right
right?
across the board.
You sons of bitches, I beat you to
I was specifically not saying it, trying to avoid
I
it.
knew it was going to come
Don't
as soon
worry,
as I
I'll
saw
say
the
it
4
for you,
8s.
Paul.
Jesus.
I will say, though, the thing that surprised me about that knife is I was actually able, with that chisel tip, to push cut like curls off paper with it, which I did not expect. Because like Joe said, it's a hollow ground blade, but it's more like a really abrupt tanto almost at the front. It's a more reinforced tip for sure. Yeah, on the personal side of things, low point for me is aesthetics. I've said since we first saw this thing that it looks like a dog. It looks like a dog.
I wanted to steal your point so much. I wanted to. It looks so much like a little puppy dog, like it's a wiener dog. Straight up is.
Which you would think I like because I love wiener dogs.
Stupid.
And they came out with the ritual too, so apparently CRKT's got a theme this year. There's some other ones we might not even know about by the time they roll in. So,
but yeah,
Oh
the thing that I wanted to say about aesthetics, as far as that goes, there are blades that I like because they're pretty, and then there are knives that I like because they're utilitarian and they're useful. And as ugly as that Razel, whatever the hell you want to call it, is, it's a useful blade shape. It's the same way I feel about most leaf shape Spyderco knives at the end of the day. Mostly across the board, I gave it 7s on the personal side of things.
Wow. That is pushing that term to its limits right
Oh.
there.
That's
Wait,
why
no,
it's funny.
I am sure I could find that reference where you called it across the board and there was 2.
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Oh, I think I was bitching about it when we were recounting our scores when we made the scoreboard. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah, the pocket ergos for me, everything was fine with it as far as getting in the pocket, except for the fact that the lanyard fob hole, that thing's really pointy. And anytime I went to put my hand into my pocket, you dug right into that thing immediately.
It's
I did take that one picture
yeah.
specifically of the fob hole on the one angle just to highlight how window breaky that looks, but will not break windows.
No. Also, what's going on, Matt? How
There
you
it
doing?
is. Yeah.
Good day.
Hey, brother, thanks for joining us, man.
So you might ask yourself, with 6s and 7s across all the personal side of things, why my enthusiasm is an 8? And it's because I like that Razel. I like the options that that kind of knife offers you. I've said for the longest time, I have a friend who is not kind to his knives, who thinks they're screwdrivers as much as they're cutting implements. And there's a very good chance that I'm going to end up buying him this knife because he won't be able to break it. Probably.
You've seen the stuff that comes through the shop.
I gave you the very quizzical puppy dog. Like it's
If he can break this one, I'm making him a fixed bladed version.
Out of 3V, that's the only way he's going to stop breaking them.
You do 1075 and he'll just bend it at a 45-degree angle. It's
3V.
fine. Yeah.
I'm going to make 2 of them. I'm going to get one for myself.
Anyway, you're going to infringe on some patents. It's what you're going to do.
No, I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah, there you
go. Anyway. Yeah, you were at least. I was most hatery. I knew I would be this week because Nigel Yeah, kind of dug this. I knew as soon as we got it, when we were looking at all the new stuff, that you were held it a couple times, and we're like, yeah. So
Yeah. I went back to it a few times.
yeah.
The one thing that I was going to say too is that I would have actually changed one of my scores having known that it didn't fit you or Joe, because it didn't fit me. That's why I gave it it didn't fit me as much as I wanted it to, I should say, which is why I gave it a 7, which is fairly hatery for me.
But you gave it an 8 on the objective side, yeah.
On the objective side, because I asked Nigel how it fit him, and it fit him pretty well. And I assumed if it fits me okay and it fits Nigel, it's going to fit most people. And apparently, on either end of the spectrum, it's better than in between.
Yeah, it's a Cebu, kind of. Yeah. So there is something to be said for that. And I think that's just because of the design. I mean, you can see it up on the screen with the flipper tab and the butt end. That's not going to be a middle ground knife. That's going to be a love-hate knife. And whether you're overextended on it, and maybe having the fob on the backside might give Nigel just a little bit more, like the CRKT minimalist. It's maybe that's what you're looking for, just to complete the package.
There you go. I'm now thinking about.
Got to be really careful as you're using. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You just got to be really careful as you're using the knife, not to hit the panic button on the fob.
Panic button?
Yeah. Key fobs always have a panic button. So it's off the one on your. Looking at.
But what if I'm panicking?
I never tried to put my finger in front
That's
of
an appropriate time.
No, don't use that like a finger choil, Paul. That's a bad idea. Don't. Yeah. It's a bad idea. But I have a gunny sidekick right over here. Joe has a smock. We will show you what kind of bad idea it is to think that is a finger choil.
I have enough scars in my hands, man.
I mean, enough people own the Batum compact from CRKT that they've learned their lesson, okay?
I just want to put my finger up there and then scrape with it. What's the worst that can happen?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. On that push cut, chisely, scrapey action, choke up on it a little bit to get some dexterity. That's a great idea, for sure.
Don't utilize that flipper tab as a guard at all. There's no point in that. Jelibus.
My friends are jerks.
Depends on the heat treatment on the liner there, Joe. You might like it's.
You're not wrong.
I think it'll probably be okay. The HCR will fold before the liner does.
I think it's hard to fuck up 304 stainless. Anyway.
All right.
What's the average?
Yeah, we got to get on that. We got a government-mandated break to take.
Right.
It's coming up soon. Got more time to kill, though.
Scoreboard ranked. I closed and didn't save. I just got to re-enter it.
Way to go, Joe.
Yeah.
Blame Google. Go ahead. Do it again.
No. This was on my computer.
The Google is in your computer, Joe.
I was going to say, Google's on your computer, too.
Oh, God, I hope not.
The Google. You're going to be Google's.
Am I? I hope not.
Careful. Let me drive by Googling.
There's not a single thing about that phrase that I like. Oh, nope.
That's the right response.
And Paul, what was your score? 76. Okay.
And I can't argue with Paul's score. I want to argue with Paul's score, but I really can't. There's nothing on there that objectively I hummed and hawed about some 7s and 8s on the other side. Between like cutting ability, I get where you're coming from. The hollow grind's okay. But I think 8CR on the chisel front end is going to be a big wake-up call to people getting big dings in the blade that are wanting to be hard. Like you said, D2. Nigel said D2. If this thing was, I would have a different answer for that. But when you're telling guys to go ahead and do one of these with the front of your knife, and it's only an 8CR that's heat treated to potentially a 57 or a 58 Rockwell.
What was the original Razel made out of? It couldn't have been better.
No, it's probably Oz 8 out of the CRKT one. Yeah.
The original folder? I actually...
Yeah. If I were to guess, it would be Oz 8.
Yeah. You would hope Oz 8, but could have been
I was going to
HCR.
say 4116.
No.
No, it's weird. CRKT like used 4116 in their fixed blades a lot, but the folder thing has kind of been a rare thing up until
The seismic, pretty much, right? Like, that was kind of the first major one I remember being like, whoa, that's really?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, all of a sudden you started to see them throw it in some folders. That was like, okay.
I was picturing the fixed blade in my head. I also didn't realize I was going to start such a tangent. What's our average?
Our average. It's all right. It's so our average across the board is 68.25.
That doesn't even make sense, dude.
No, I'm just saying it to piss you off at this point. Overall, for our all-time ranking, it ranks at a number 52. Sir Nigel,
52 out of
70.
Well, someone's got to keep the averages down. You sons of bitches would have kept it up beside like the odium, and then John would have lost his shit.
I don't think I'd blame him, really.
So the only one lower than it on the board for this year was the Ritual.
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying those scores are wrong by any means. That's definitely where everything deserves to be at
I'm
this
just
point.
pointing it out.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah. Some of that might be historically that we haven't reviewed some Kershaw stuff yet, but I mean, you'll never know. That's just me throwing some shade. We haven't done the Duwali from CRKT yet. I can't imagine what it's going to score. Maybe higher than we imagined. I don't know. Who knows?
Which one is the Duwali?
The little friction folder with the
The
bottom.
little slip joint thing.
5CR spear pointy little guy. Oh, it's so cute that you hate to just kind of kill it.
Yeah, I like that little guy.
just bringing up a picture here. Yeah,
It's kind of like, you feel bad about throwing it under the flames because of how cute it is. It might.
It's
It
the
might just.
first
It might just get thrown
that
under
I've
the.
learned to flick open.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
I'm not good at the top flick.
I'm not either, but that one's not the easiest one. Anyway, it's me.
I had issues trying to do it consistently, but the first couple times I tried, I managed to get it right away, and then it's just gradually gotten harder. I don't know.
Gradually gotten harder.
Yeah.
It happened the other way for me.
You're talking like you gave it a solid D there, Joe. Seriously.
Past tense, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so. It's not a current tense.
Is there a future tense? I think there is going to be some tense things in the future. But
Well, before this gets any more tense,
we got 2 episodes to go to find that out.
Yep.
That's
Oh yeah, break time.
Break time.
Yeah, I think it's time for a break across the board. Because I mean, if we're just saying it, like it's
no fun when you say it. It's
only fun when it hurts your feelings.
It only hurts my feelings when it's actually scoring. But apparently, Joe thinks you can just use it in whatever context you want. So.
Absolutely, man. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you tomorrow.
So while we set up the boxing ring to settle this dispute here, we'll head off onto our government-mandated break. Suggest you all do the same. Go on and empty out your bladders, refill your drinks in the appropriate orders, and we shall return shortly with everyone. See you soon.
We don't need